What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos, of course. Check them out. But until then, stay on this one. All right. So this one, I think it's a pretty important topic. I'm going to try to get multiple videos in today if I can. I don't know. However, we'll see what we can work out. Y'all know me. I always try to figure something out. So this video is my thoughts on carrying with an empty chamber. Now, this is one I've been thinking about for a good minute too, because I want to, I don't know, I want to weigh the pros and the cons of everything first. That's just every gun owner I feel like has, that thought process of should I have a round in the chamber or not. So, for a short answer, I'm not a big fan of carrying without a round in the chamber. Now, let me go ahead and give you a couple of examples, right? Let me actually go ahead and grab these. I should have grabbed them first, but I guess I'm a bit underprepared. Actually, I think this will just do fine. So, I got my Glock 23. Y'all can see no mag in it. Chamber's empty. So, because granted, this isn't, the most popular handgun in the world. The 19 is, realistically. However, it's its cousin chambered in 40. We all know that. So, let's get into it. Basically, there's a couple of things that I get worrying about while carrying. I get that. There's a couple of things to worry about, sure. One, what if something gets into the trigger guard, pulls the trigger? I get that. Let me see here. It depends how you're carrying. Carrying necessarily. It depends on a good couple of things. So let's start with the most common way of carrying, which is appendix carry. Let's say hypothetically, I'll be real with y'all because I'm a fan of appendix carry myself. All right, I have, I've had the thoughts of, hey, I kind of don't want a gun with a round in the chamber pointing right at at my fucking balls. I get that. I get that. I agree. However, I am proper when it comes to the reholstering. I'm real careful. Shirts all the way up. I am paying attention to what I'm doing. All that good shit. Two, I use a good holster. All right, not a shitty holster. I use a good holster. And three, I know how to properly handle a firearm. In other words, I'm not going to sit there and have my finger on the trigger as I'm reholstering. So, I understand having, some concerns necessarily as far as, carrying on your body. What if a round goes off? Things like that. I hear you there. However, in a situation like that, I think the best way to go about it is, for example, this is why I actually grabbed this gun in particular, as as I showed y'all before. No mag, chamber's empty. Ready? You see the trigger's forward. Once you pull this trigger, it's gonna stay back, unless there's, that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's actually a great way to really tell whether there's a round chambered in a Glock or not. I mean, you know what? Let me rephrase. There can be a situation like a light strike, because Glocks, aren't like the G2C where they have restriking capabilities, However, generally speaking, if you see a Glock like this, it's, unloaded with the trigger back. However, of course, still check. But as you can see, if something is to happen, right, the trigger is going to be back. Or let's say, all right, my whole point though, I'm not going to sit here and keep going to let's say, but my whole point is hypothetically, if you have an issue with carrying with a round in the chamber just based off the fear that something might cause it to go off, here's what you do. All right. As you can see, the trigger is forward on my Glock 23, no round in the chamber, just like before, all that good shit. Right? There's still not a round in the chamber just because I put a magazine in here, guys. However, we can see the trigger is forward. What I want you to do is to go ahead and just have the trigger forward and carry. See what'll happen. as long as, if you ever have to use your gun, I hope you have a round in there. But my whole point is that you'll get used to carrying with a round in the chamber simply because you'll see that if you have a good holster, a good gun, and you are careful with how you are holstering your firearm or reholstering whenever you need it, then you should be fine. You should be just fine. You will see that this trigger will never go back. However, let's say we're talking about like bag carry, right? I believe that, and this is my personal opinion, y'all can disagree with me if you want. However, if you got your gun in like a backpack, right, you definitely should not have a round in the chamber. Now, I know some people are going to be like, oh, what if you have a holster on it? If you have a holster on it, I guess you could. However, there's also the argument that, what if something does happen and, some people might have their holsters too loose for their guns and their gun pops out or something. That is an argument I've heard as well. So I get where they're coming from. Me personally, I would just sit there and rather avoid it and just say, in a bag in particular, like a backpack, I would not have a round in the chamber. That's just me personally. Now, as far as on the body, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a round chambered because, I'm not worried about, oh yeah, what else is in my bag that might accidentally get caught in the trigger guard, things like that. Even if I have a holster on it, one might accidentally sit there, and cause. Like, look, I will say, if I'm gonna do it, I'm definitely, if I'm gonna have a round chambered in my backpack, or at least in a gun in my backpack, obviously, I'm definitely going to be using a holster. However, it's not something that I generally do. So I'm not discouraging people from doing that. If you feel safe doing that and you have a good holster, go ahead. However, a good holster is a key part to, why carrying with a round in the chamber is extremely important. You don't want to sit there and have a shitty holster. I will say probably the least quality holster I have for all my guns is this one, my little LCP holster. Came with the gun. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, oh yeah, why is it, not as good quality? Well, here's why. I can sit here and I can crush this thing. All right. It's not very hard to, fuck with. Things can get in here very easily. See what I mean? Like it's just not the best holster for a gun that wouldn't have as long or as heavy as a trigger pull as the LCP does. You see what I mean? However, I do trust this holster for the LCP 100% because of the gun that it is. You know what I mean? I know that the trigger pull on the LCP is longer. I know that it is heavier than, not a great deal, but, a good deal of guns. And not to mention, I know that I'm going to keep this fucking pocket, empty for that gun. That's going to be the only thing in there. You know what I mean? So I feel like that part is kind of neither here nor there, but I did have to go through that. So the long story short I'm getting at is I do think carrying with a round in the chamber is a good idea as far as, on your body. If we're talking maybe in your car, when you don't have it on your body, if it's in a holster, sure, whatever. The entire point I'm trying to get at though is don't sit there and be scared to not have a round in the chamber because I've seen people that are scared to not have a round in the chamber end up being in a situation where they end up dead because they didn't have that round chambered. I've seen security guards who clear. I've seen security guards who, sat there in a robbery. They've drawn their gun, went to rack the slide back, and as they're racking the slide back, bam, domed. And obviously, it's not that dramatic where their shit's just blown back like that. But you know what I mean. They get their shit fucking domed. They get gunned down within the time it takes for you to sit there. Ready? I'm gonna do it at 9:30. And that wasn't even a full fucking rack back. That was a shitty one. Like, you see what I mean? And then get it on target. No, that's not quick enough in a situation where seconds matter. You know what I mean? That's not quick enough. That's not something that you should, try to have. I understand being, a bit worried. I get it. I've been there. However, if you get a good quality holster, Now, when I say a quality holster, I've actually talked about what good quality holsters are like in another video. You should go and check that video out as well. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. However, they're not going to be your soft holster that, something could poke and, just the poking itself could fuck with the trigger through the holster. You're not, you know what I mean? It's the best way to say it is Kydex holsters are pretty good. You know what I mean? Like actual hard plastic holsters that aren't cloth or leather or shit like that are, what you would be looking for in that situation. However, carrying with a round chamber shouldn't be an issue ever. It really should not. And I think if you're just going to sit here and try to make an issue out of it, the best you can do, to try to get comfortable is to carry it like this. You see, there's no round in the chamber. I can prove it. Once again, even though I've fucking cleared this gun like 100 times in this video, no round in the chamber, there's no mag. So with that being the case, right, the end of your day, when you sit there and, take your gun out the holster, right, you're going to see that it's exactly like this. And it's going to start building some confidence up in you. You definitely are going to need confidence to sit there and carry, a gun with a round in the chamber. That's for sure. Especially if you appendix carry, you need to sit there and just be like, look, yeah, this could happen, but I'm careful, so I'm going to make sure it's not happening. That's how it works. I think that's the best way to explain it. This is more so obviously for the newer gun owners, that were the people who haven't really concealed carried properly, things like that. Not things, people like that. Y'all know what the fuck I mean. It's been a long one. All right. Other than that, something I haven't said yet in the video, I'm sure y'all have been waiting to hear this. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you a Chad, you a real one, bro. You sitting there talking about fuck no round in the chamber. Fuck are you talking about? Like, come on. Because you carry with a round in the chamber, because you a Chad. Go check out, Adam's channel, Centerfire Podcast, the podcast channel, Gun Nut TV's Adam's channel. Y'all know what the deal is. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and sit there and type both the channels in the description below. Other than that, y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.